Okay, so welcome to video 2, and if you listen to video 1, then you have all of the preparation part of this whole thing that we call Fantagoaling. And if you haven't listened to video 1, I suggest before you go into video 2, go back and listen to video 1 and then come back to video 2, because it'll make more sense to you what I'm talking about than if you haven't seen video 1. Okay, so we're talking about Fantagoaling, right? And you have all your props and your place to do it, and your time that you're going to do it, and your mindset, and all that's together. So now what's going to happen is you're going to go in and you're going to close your door and you're going to close yourself off, and you just get yourself into a relaxed state. What I usually do is put my headphones on, and instead of trying to go into a relaxed state, I play the kind of music that really gets me in that relaxed state. Now, on different days, that might be different. Okay, so I'm not in judgment about it. I just sit there and I'll play and I'll flick through a few things, and then after a minute or so, I might play a couple of different songs, and then after a while, I'll hit one and it'll just really get my juices going, it'll get my groove going or something. Once that happens and I start to feel the emotion of it, then I just let it go. I let myself go with that, and then the music plays, and now I start to get this film running in my mind, and that film is about what lifestyle. It's about what I want my life to look like, and it's about the things that I really have enjoyed doing, and the person I really enjoy being while during the course of my life. And so, as an example, I've shared with many of you about my wife and I's dance experience, and so a song might come on that we particularly like when we're dancing, and I'll get all kinds of visions in my mind about steps and turns and stuff that nobody would think of, right? It just comes to me, right? And I just let that play. Because as that plays, I know that at some point I'm going to find myself during 2010 out on the dance floor again, and guess what? By the time I do that those new steps and turns and everything will have played so much that I actually will be able to get out there with her and execute it. It'll look like I've been practicing for years, and all I really did was come up with it in a room one night and just let my mind be with it. Okay, and you can see, you'll feel it. You can feel the expression on your face change. You'll feel the whole aura of the room, the energy of it. You'll start to feel that, and when you feel that, then you know that you're there. Okay, so there's a lot of different areas in your life in which Fantagoaling occurs. Obviously, there's one that is around spirituality. In that one, I take a look at what my mindsets have been and what I've learned and what paradigms that have been suggested to me. And I either accept or reject certain ways of being. Okay, during that time, I accept those ones that are consistent with the lifestyle that I want to create, and I reject those ones that are not consistent with that. I'm not in judgment about it. It just doesn't work for me, So I don't, I reject those. Right in that moment, it comes to me and says, I don't want to be that way. This is what I want to be, and I can actually feel being that way. Okay. Another area undoubtedly will be your primary relationship. Okay, and there's a lot of people I know that have some real struggles with their primary relationship, and this is one of the areas in which they can clean some of that up, because there's no judgment, and because you're fantasizing about stuff that you really want to have happen, and your spouse hopefully is in another room doing exactly the same thing. When you guys come together, you can put together your Fantagoals and really start to see what it is that you both want out of life. Okay, and we're going to talk about making that happen, but in the moment, you just want to be with it. Okay. Another area, obviously, is going to be vacations, places that you want to go, places you want to see, things you want to do when you get there, man. I got this real fantasy about going to Rio. And there's a Mardi Gras down there, just like the one in New Orleans. And I'm like, oh man, I can see the costumes and the dancing and the partying all night and just the freedom. I can actually connect with and feel that. Now, how am I going to get there? When am I going to go? All the kind of I'm not interested in that right there in that moment. I'm just interested in connecting what it's going to be with what it's going to be like to be there. Okay, so here's another area, career, and I fantasize about that. Who do I want to be? What do I want to create next year? Where do I see myself? Do I see myself in front of videos? Do I see myself in front of audiences? How do I see myself? Okay, in the upcoming year. Not what am I going to do? When am I going to do it? What time frame I'm going to get this done? But just the whole fantasy of being in the moments of that happening, what it feels like, what the applause sounds like, all those kinds of things. Those are all fantasies, have nothing to do with the rigid how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, and who it's going to happen for. So I'm not in that space yet. All right, I'm just in the space of being with it. Okay. Is it recording? Yeah, it is recording. Okay, so that's another area. Okay, so for you, each one of them, each area will be a little different, but we all have basically or essentially some primary key areas in our life, and one of those is the ones that I mentioned: your primary relationship, family, community. You may have some fantasies around that, some vision around that, what you'd like to see happen, what you see your involvement in that is going to look like and feel like and be like, and all those kinds of things. You might have some fantasies that come up around traveling and vacation and whatever. Okay, whatever is going to come up is going to come up. All right. At the end of that, at some point in time, that's going to play, that's going to play, that's going to be played. My coaching is relax. Relax into it. Let it play. Let it play. If it plays for 30 minutes and you get down to the end of it, then that's it for that session. It could go for 45 minutes, an hour. Sometimes I could be sitting there for a couple hours. My wife would be sitting in the bathtub for 2 hours. Just being with it. She's really happy with being with it, and I'm really happy that she's being with it and that she's happy doing that. So there's no pressure for her to do anything else. There's no pressure for me to do anything else in those moments. I just do what it is that I'm doing and let my vision unfold. I let it come to me and unfold. All right. Now at the end of that, that's when I get my pencil and my paper and pad and stuff, and I start to pencil out what has come to me. There's no particular order. I'm just going back in my mind and I'm letting it come out on paper, because I'm going to share that with my wife, Londa, at some point in time in the near future. Right? So I just pencil that out and then take a look at it and I go, geez, this is what I want 2010 to look like. And when you try that and you put that in front of you, you start reading what it is that you want to be up to in the upcoming year. If that doesn't excite you, you did this wrong. It's supposed to excite you. It's supposed to be the most exciting stuff that happens in your life. The most exciting way of being, the most exciting relationships, the excitement of how it is that you want to do your life. That's what it's supposed to be. It should be just like that. It should read just like that. And when you read it, you'll be like, dang, this is a good life. Now, at some point in time, you're going to go and make that happen. But for the moment, you just want to be with what it is that you really want your life to be like. Without any judgment, without anybody telling you, without any, anything. It's just what came up. All right, and you get to be okay with that. That this is what you want your life to be, and it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks about it. So when I get there, then I jot all this down, and then I take that with me, and that becomes 2010 or 2011 or whatever year it is. Okay, that's what becomes my year.